All right, guys, let's do a quick midday recap for today. It's Monday, December 19th, 2016. So, remember pre-market, guys, we had a pretty big watch list. I think there was around 10 or 12 stocks on there. And the idea was just to narrow it down after the open, find out what's moving. So XGTI actually hit the scanner soon after the open. And this one got on my radar pretty early. So all of my focus this morning was basically on XGTI. Which was totally worth my attention today because it worked really well on the short side. And what we got here on the chart is the three main levels that we were kind of watching and labeling as we were trading it today. So what I'll go over for you guys now is we'll just go over. I know that basically everything was laid out on the live stream this morning. So as I was trading it, this commentary was basically keeping us safe because we didn't get a long trigger in here, and I think a lot of people did chase it through. So let's just get right into it, guys. So if you remember back here, we were looking for, it needed a bit more of a correction, I think, to give us a good possible long setup, but it was getting interesting how it was holding that 450 area, and it was kind of consolidating a bit. Neither JB or I got an actual long trigger on this one. So when they ramped it up right here and they broke that 475 area, and a ton of volume came in. I mean, you just saw a flurry of green prints and, on the time and sales. When it rejected that area, that's normally where I'm just ready to smash the bid with a short and anticipate all those trap longs are going to wash it out. The unfortunate thing about XGTI was the short sell restriction that was on it today. Which means you can't actually hit the bid to get short, which makes it a lot more difficult to get in. Once it's starting to do a candle like that, it's not easy to find a buyer to hit your short, right? So, unfortunately, I did miss the initial wash here. I was trying to get in, but it just didn't fill, and then it fell off pretty hard. So, standard play is just to wait for the VWAP retest and rejection. I had a lot of conviction in this one, honestly. Like once we got under VWAP by 10:30 and then tested and rejected it a few more times. A ton of conviction in this one on the short side today. So I was really patient with, you can see here there was one more chance, and I drew a trend line like this to show that where it breaks that trend line is where we're probably going to see a really nice reversal. So it did do a little cup and handle setup under VWAP here, and I wanted to point that out because this is a common place where they'll get some more longs involved. The ones that aren't paying attention to VWAP might take that trade there. Also, desperate longs who are trapped in these areas here or in the consolidation area here. All these guys a lot of them are probably going to try to average down in this push in this area here. Or if it doesn't, or they're just waiting to see if it breaks out. And if it doesn't, then they're just like, okay, well, now they know they got to sell, and they start hitting the bid, and that can really help fuel the move lower. All right. So overall, basically all of my focus went into XGTI today. It was 100% worth putting my focus in it. This was, I think, one of the best plays out there. I was totally open to playing it long and because, technically it's a float rotation type of play. With this consolidation, if it had done a little bit longer of a consolidation and really set up for what I would consider a long trigger, would have happily played it long and then probably short it later today, depending on how it goes, but it just didn't get there. And I'm glad I didn't chase this one through. Just sort of decided that, look, if it's going to go, it's going to go without me, and I'll catch a play on it later. But I'm also really happy that we were able to, I think a lot of people wouldn't have seen maybe what we saw in that tape, and they may have taken it long, so hopefully we saved some people some heartache on trying to long this one after the initial move this morning. So I was kind of, like I said, I was kind of targeting 360, but I ended up just kind of covering down along the way here, bits at a time. And on this 80 reclaim, I was kind of thinking it might bounce, get a little bit of a relief bounce over lunch. It actually retested, and again, there's a really good reason why we marked these levels. 440 was the first level that I was interested in because I felt like if it broke 440, longs are going to bail. Doesn't necessarily mean it was going to be a full reversal because it could have just broke the 440, washed out, reclaimed VWAP, and then if it starts to trade sideways, we're looking for long setups again. But 440 was the first real area of interest for me. we broke down through 440. It was this VWAP retest and rejection that got me really interested. Okay, so this is starting to look weak now. Yeah, it grinded back up a bit, but cup and handle, fail under VWAP. The real gift here, I think, was the retest of 415. This 415 area was a big spot too. It was support back here. It was the first real 9 EMA test. So remember when it ramped up this morning? It came back. That was the first sort of dip buy opportunity on this stock for longs. Second one was right there around 450. And so that 415 area, as it came back down here, it acted as support again a little bit. And that's why we got a VWAP retest, I think, here. So 415 was a big level for us this morning. So that's why I was really interested on this ramp back up in the possibility of a reshort in that area, considering the risk reward is like, maybe if you can get in 12, 13 or something like that, you might just risk a dime. And, risking 10 cents, and you might end up with 350s by end of day on this one if it continues to stay weak. One thing that kind of helped me with this one as well, I hate to say it, but I just hop on stock twits if everyone's long and they're still talking about longs under VWAP. Oh boy, it's even better for us because unfortunately a lot of those guys, they clearly aren't paying attention to technicals in charts, and they're making big mistakes, and other people are following those mistakes, which makes the plays even more juicy for us. So anyways, hopefully we see a lower high in this one and then something towards 350 by end of day. I think it's going to be very challenging for the stock to reclaim. I'm not saying it's impossible. Obviously, we're always prepared and have a plan for both sides of the trade. One of the most important things about our trading, is that we're always looking at both sides. We're not just looking at this is what I can make. You always got to look at this is what I'm risking and this is what I could lose and this is why I'm making this play. This is what I'm risking. You have a plan that makes sense every time and to sort of eliminate the emotions, and we'll just let the trade work for us. So XGTI main watch today. I think the live commentary and the trading on this one this morning was super on point because I put so much focus in it. And again, I like to sort of narrow it down to 3 or 4 stocks after the open. That way I can really, really get a feel for the stock. Get a feel for, in a stock like this, there's only 8% institutionally owned, so a lot of retail in this. You can really get a good feel for where they're long, where they're short, where they're going to panic, where, I was basically looking back here thinking, okay, well, if this breaks 430, weak shorts are probably going to cover, and ultimately we were kind of looking for that $4 break to confirm. So a lot of good reads in this one this morning, and I really hope the live commentary helped, guys, and I hope you did well. So again, it's still pretty early today. Hopefully this one can roll and give us a little more downside action. Aside from XGTI, let's see, BCRX going forward into this afternoon. BCRX is going to be a watch for us. I'm really liking the way this chart is shaping up on all time frames. So we got a bit of a cup and handle forming on the 15. 5-minute chart looks good. VWAP holds higher lows. What I just want to see is a little bit of consolidation over the next hour. And hopefully it just sets up for a late day 2 p.m. breakout over highs. So BCRX with a proper setup going into 2 p.m. I'll be looking at this one again. But as per my usual rules, I won't be trading it over lunch. So I'll be waiting for around 1:30. If we're still over 690, I'll be watching this like a hawk for a possible late day move through 715. That is BCRX. And again, we're going to want to see at least 690s hold on this one by 1:30 p.m. And LOXO, you know what, that one actually went without me. I was looking at LOXO as a really nice chart. I love the time for all time frames, 15-minute, hourly, daily, all looks good. When all the stars are aligned, I'm interested. Love the consolidation, don't love the time of day. Unfortunately, we're in the middle of lunch, so I tend to not really try to play these over lunch. So it did break out. I guess we'll still keep it on watch for later on today. Often what we'll get, especially mid-afternoon, is we might get a little ramp up and then a retest of that 34.95 area, and it might set up again. So we'll just mark 34.95 on LOXO and EVOK. I just put this one on the list because remember this morning, the idea on this morning was a continuation fade from Friday. So if you guys remember on Friday, I actually shorted right here. So again, same sort of idea with this trend line that I drew on On Friday, I ended up shorting just under that trend line at around 333, and then I got some ads at 233 and 228, and I actually had a pretty solid cover on this one near twos. Today I was looking for this one to continue. I thought that any longs that were still in it, if there was a nice wash, I think I was targeting 170, but I didn't actually trade it this morning. I got distracted. XGTI took my attention. I left it alone. A lot of chop on this one now. It's back over to 205 was actually the main area you can see here that I marked. So, and you know what? It actually acted as resistance again. So probably no trade in that one for me today, but that was the idea. And APTO, probably nothing for me unless we get back over 150. If we can get an actual legitimate long setup over VWAP on this one, I'll take a look at it again. Actually, we'll say 145. It's got some work to do, but you never know. This might give us a setup later. So that's where we're at so far, guys. I'm going to keep scanning for some ideas going into the close today. As usual, at around 130 or 115, I'll come on and start going over all the plays that I like going into the close. So hope you guys had a good morning and have a good lunch. We'll see you in about 30 minutes.